Now, we've heard stories of college dropouts making it big time like tech mogul Zuckerberg, Dorsey, or Daniel Elk, but high school dropouts becoming millionaires? Much less billionaires? Now that's more unheard of, but definitely not impossible. By the way, while I'm still doing my long-ass intro, why don't you hit that like and subscribe button so you have something to do? Anyway, today we'll take a look at the outliers among the outliers. People who, before they got to experience peer pressure and gossip, dropped out of school and trudged their way to success. Disclaimer: we won't be including John D. Rockefeller and Henry Ford anymore. Welcome to Luxury by Design. Number 10. JayZ. Net worth $1 billion. Usually school dropouts who become ultra-rich start out as entrepreneurs, businessmen, or tech geniuses. Rarely do you hear a high school dropout become uber-rich from pursuing music, a career which many consider as risky and unstable. But Sean JayZ Carter is not only regarded as one of the most influential hip-hop artists of all time, he's also the first of only two who ever achieved billionaire status, the other one being Kanye West. But before all the glamour, the rapper grew up in a housing project in Brooklyn and was raised by a single mother when their father left them at an early age. From his interviews and verses, high school days were turbulent as he sold cocaine and got shot at a couple of times. Unsurprisingly, the record producer and executive eventually dropped out and really focused on becoming a rapper. At 26, he co-founded his own record label and a year after, released his debut album, Reasonable Doubt. After 3 years, he would release his third studio album, which would skyrocket him to the Grammys. Since then, the hip-hop icon has 14 #1 albums and 22 Grammy Awards under his belt. Simultaneous to his rising music career, JayZ has also built an expansive and sprawling empire that encompasses art, real estate, and entertainment and sports management agency, and a wide investment portfolio. According to Forbes' real-time billionaire list, his current net worth is at $1 billion. Number 9. Carl Linder. Net worth $1.7 billion in 2010. During the Great Depression and following his father's illness, Linder had dropped out from high school to work as a delivery boy for a dairy company that his family owned. With a $1,200 loan, he opened an ice cream shop at 21 years old. His knack for business and financial deals paid off, and the shops multiplied. Today, United Dairy Farmers has a total of 200 Midwestern stores, which his brother owns after he passed away. Profits from his dairy shop allowed him to acquire loans and saving companies until he finally diversified into the insurance business. Number 8. David Murdock. $2 billion. Before becoming a self-made billionaire, Pineapple King David Murdock suffered with dyslexia and dropped out of high school in the 9th grade. For a time, he worked at gas stations before he was drafted into the Army. After the war, he decided to open his very first business, a diner in Detroit, which he later sold for a $700 profit. With his business acumen and years after of purchasing, saving, and investing, he had become the CEO and the founder of Dole Foods Company and has an estimated worth of $2 billion in 2020. Now, at 97 years old, he's determined to reach the age of 125. He takes very good care of his health by avoiding red meat and eating as many as 20 fruits and vegetables a day. Go David! Number 7. Kirk Kerkorian. $4.2 billion in 2015. After investing and betting his money on casinos and film studios, Kirk Kerkorian rose as one of America's richest. The Armenian-American businessman had lived a full 98 years before passing away in 2018, becoming the world's second oldest billionaire. Forbes described his life as a stuff of movies. He was an 8th grade dropout who, before establishing his empire, was a former boxer and a World War II fighter pilot trainer. 7 years after buying a plot of land in Las Vegas in 1962, he built the original MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. Until the time of his death, he remained as MGM Resorts' international largest shareholder. Number 6. Joe Louis. $5 billion. Joseph C. Lewis, or simply Joe Louis, is a British businessman and entrepreneur with a net worth of $5 billion as of 2020. Born on February 5, 1937, he decided to leave high school at the age of 15 to help his father run their catering business, Tavistock Banqueting, which he later sold to help set up his investment organization, named the Tavistock Group. Primarily earning his fortune as a forex trader, his launch into the billionaire status started when he had a couple of his friends bet on September's 1992 Black Wednesday or the crashing of the European exchange rate mechanism. Number 5. Richard Branson. $5.1 billion. Richard Branson is the owner of the famed Virgin Group, which is involved with over 400 different companies in every field imaginable. He has spread his brand everywhere, from the entertainment retailer Virgin Megastar to the spaceflight corporation, Virgin Galactic. At the age of 16, the billionaire made the difficult decision of dropping out of school because of his dyslexia. The London-born British magnate who dreamt of becoming an entrepreneur started out with a magazine called Student as his first ever business venture. It later evolved and expanded into a mail-order record business with several chains, whose profits then funded the beginning of what was to be known as the Virgin Records, and the rest is history. Number 4. Xiao Kwanfei, $16.53 billion. Xiao was an entrepreneur even at a young age, raising animals to sell and feed her family with. Despite being the only sibling that made it to secondary school in their family, she opted to drop out at the age of 16 to become a migrant worker with her uncle, and she continued working until her workplace shut down when she was 22, after which she decided to make her own company promising high-quality watch lenses. She caught her big break when she was called on to make mobile phone screens for a Chinese electronic giant named TCL Corporation. Her company, now named Lens Technology, makes screens for many famous mobile phone brands like Samsung, Apple, and Nokia. Number 3. Li Ka-shing, $34.1 billion. One of the most influential entrepreneurs in Asia today, with his company, Cheng Kong Holdings, actually holds 4% of the aggregate market in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. He had a rough early life as he moved to Hong Kong as a refugee to escape a military conflict between China and Japan. When his father died of tuberculosis, he was forced to leave school and work in a plastic trading company. He later saved up enough to start his own plastic manufacturing company that later diversified into real estate, retail, assets trading, and even technology, all the while assuming his massive fortune. Number 2. Francois Perret, $46.4 billion. Born on August 21, 1936 in rural France, he spent most of his young life helping his father with their timber business, and when he dropped out of school at age 16 due to the discrimination of the upper-class children, he enlisted in the army. When he came back, he and his family set up a small lumber trading company that took off almost immediately, with them being able to buy businesses facing bankruptcy and relaunching them. From there, he diversified into the luxury industry, investing in fashion and jewelry companies, which earned him his fortune today. Now at age 84, he's handed over the management of his companies to his son, Francois Henry. Number 1. Amancio Ortega, $76.5 billion. Best known as the former chairman of the Inditex fashion group that gave the world Zara clothing and accessories, he's the 6th wealthiest person in the world as of 2019. He was briefly the wealthiest man in the world back in 2015 when his company's stock peaked, passing over Bill Gates for a brief period. Born on March 28, 1936, he spent his childhood in Lyon, Spain, but later moved and dropped out of high school at the age of 14 due to his father's work at the railways. His first business venture was selling bathrobes that later extended into all kinds of clothing that made up the Zara brand, earning him the fortune he enjoys late into his retirement in 2011. So what do you think of the 10 high school dropouts that are billionaires? Are you inspired by their stories? We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And if you're new to Luxury by Design, hit that like button as that helps us out a lot. Subscribe with the notification bell for more updates and luxurious videos just like this one. See you next time.